Well, I don't think we're going to see Clase anymore. I mean, unfortunately, the best relief pitcher at one point in baseball, and I don't think there's an argument to it. This guy was as dominant as any closer in baseball for a year, and probably one of the best, really second halves I've ever seen a pitcher ever have in relief since Mariano Rivera. This story is just crazy. And you think about baseball and betting and sports and betting, and it's only going to get worse. It's not just Clase and Ortiz. There's going to be other guys. Ohtani was another. Ohtani got away. I wrote a story. Go check it out on www.worldwidesportsradio.com, kind of comparing and making jokes about the Ohtani and Ortiz to Clase situation. It is very, very funny. So I'm going to just let everybody know, when you get a chance, go check it out. It is really, really good. I put a lot of time into it. If this is true and baseball investigates this the way they should have done with Ohtani, not only are these guys going to see time, baseball is going to have to figure out, just like basketball, how these, I guess, what do they call them, Speedy? When it comes to pitches, hits, what do they call that?
Props.
Prop bets have to be taken out of sports. When it comes to DraftKings, FanDuel, honestly, it's horrible to think that players would do this, knowing that baseball has been under scrutiny with the steroid era and all the significant situations that happened in the 90s for it to go on strike. I mean, if you haven't checked out the Montreal Expos documentary in Netflix, I mean, that pretty much ruined the Expos and why the Expos moved to Washington. That whole strike thing. And baseball might be going on strike after this year. And what are the baseball gods and what is Manfred going to do when this has been going to be brought up by the owners, by the GMs, and by some of the players when they sit down with the players? I mean, there's a lot that this story hasn't really shown yet. And the fact that they were tipping pitches or whatever the hell they were doing when it came to prop bets, it worries me that baseball, and this has been going on a lot longer, even past the fact that Pete Rose has been suspended. Pete Rose was slammed by Bud Selig and Rob Manfred. I really do believe that. Now, was Pete Rose right for what he did? No. He bet for his team when it came to baseball. Does that make him right? No. But now that betting has become legalized, these players are starting to see the opportunity they have to make money. And not only money that they're getting, the millions and millions of dollars from ownership and sales for their jerseys and all the other stuff, autograph signings. No, it's not enough for these guys. Now they're using their ability to go out there and call prop bets on their pitches. And again, this is going to happen more often than we could even speak about, because I don't even think it's going to be pitchers. It's going to be hitters. It's going to be coaches and managers and GMs. This is still going to grow legs. If anybody thinks that baseball, if they find a way, or the FBI finds a way to sentence these guys to 60 years, which I believe baseball and the FBI will find a way to make a deal, and these guys probably see a little bit of time, not 60 years jail, because of the money they have, and obviously being that they're superstar players. Well, one of them is a superstar player. I just think that the facts here are still not out. I don't think there's enough facts to point our fingers to what Clase and Ortiz did. What I do know is if the FBI is involved with it, and the FBI has dropped the hammer on the reports that we're hearing on these two players, obviously there's some truth to it. Just like there was some truth with Ohtani. Now, innocent until proven guilty, as Joba always says. I think baseball needs to investigate this even more deeper, because when you look at basketball and you look at the Terry Rozier thing, and Terry Rozier has been doing this a significant amount of time, and then basketball investigated and let him play, and then the FBI dug deeper and then obviously arrested him after the fact. So I don't think Clase and I don't think Ortiz are the only guys in baseball that have done this. I think this has been going on since sports propping and sports betting has been legalized in really a significant amount of states. Baseball and FanDuel and DraftKings, it's been 2 years now that this has been legalized here in the States, in a lot of different states. I don't know how many states. How many states, Speedy? Do you know that? How many states right now are legalized when it comes to sports betting? So there's 39 states right now in the United States that have legalized FanDuel, DraftKings, and all the MGM, all the sports betting. When it becomes even bigger throughout the country, when all the states are going to legalize it and make it legalized, because I don't even think it's legalized in Nebraska yet, right, Joba? It's not. It's not.
We'll be one of the last states for sure.
Right.
Like we have a sports book like in Lincoln, but you can't you have to go to the casino. You don't have like the apps or whatever. But the crazy part is if you go, anywhere like in our town, if you go, it's Omaha, but it's in Iowa because it's called the boats. Because the land where you walk in is Nebraska, but where you go to gamble and everything is on water, which the water is owned by Iowa.
I love it when you say wada. Wata.
So Iowa, you can gamble. So when you can drive 45 minutes from my house and legally gamble, like it obviously geo-tracks you, but like when you're sitting there, you can bet on your phone. But yeah, you can go to the sports book here in Nebraska and bet. You just can't do it like on your phone.
I'm worried that not just baseball. I think professional sports, and we're going to hear. Eventually, we're going to hear a prop thing with hockey, and there's going to be players. This, with sports betting and sports propping, now that we were talking about Michael Porter Jr.'s brother, who was suspended for life because of his situation, nobody's talking about Michael Porter's brother anymore. They completely forgot about it. Now you got Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones. So now you have baseball. You have Clase, you have Ortiz. Ohtani is going to be buried now. The story about Ohtani is buried. Why? Because he wasn't convicted. Everybody was obviously thrown into jail. Everything was taken care of, and baseball kind of just brushed it under the rug. Now you have two other guys. What is it going to take for ownership and the commissioners of every single sport to just completely push this out of the sport? The prop betting should be completely thrown away from professional sports. You want to bet on a game? You want to bet on the scores, the over-unders that's been around in Vegas for such a long time? Do that. If it's not horse racing, there should not be prop betting in professional sports because you know that players and coaches can fiddle around with it because they're the ones that know the inside scoop of what's going on before the game and after the game. Around the league, he didn't play for the Yankees, he didn't play for the Mets, he hasn't played for the Sox or the Dodgers. So if you don't know baseball, you probably don't know Emmanuel Clase. You really don't, unless you're a baseball enthusiast fan. But he is a star. He's considered a star because of what he did the year that he was so dominant. And we haven't seen a dominant year like that since Mariano Rivera. I mean, think about it. Before the playoff run, which he was horrible in the playoffs, maybe he was tipping pitches then. Maybe he was getting paid during the playoffs and why the Guardians didn't go to the World Series and the Yankees did. Who knows? Who knows what the FBI has investigated on? All I'm saying is, if you're not a baseball enthusiast, you're not a baseball fan, you probably don't know Emmanuel Clase. That's all I'm saying on that.
It's all interesting to me. It's also readily available. Like now, everybody can see it. Obviously, it was happening before all of this stuff was in the forefront of commercials and so on and so forth. And it's you brought up something earlier. It's just it's like hitters and all the other stuff. Like they showed highlights. I don't know if is it a low light now? I don't think it's a highlight. But
no, it's not a highlight.
There was a pitch he was supposed to throw for a ball, which he did, but Andy Pott had swung at it. So it's like, and they did that story and the guy, lost money or whatever. And he sent a sad face or whatever. It's just, I I don't know how involved like they get with this, because it's like, is the risk the reward factor? I don't know where you're just not thinking, honestly, because, hey, I'm already making this amount of money. Why do I need the extra? Like, is it an addiction thing where you just have to have something else riding on it, because you're not making as much money on the back end as you are to throw the baseball, right? And if you get caught, it really doesn't do anything for you but make you look like an idiot in more ways than one. So I don't get it. I don't know how or where like it comes, and you get so far involved in it where you don't know where it starts or where it ends. And you might have messed with some wrong people where we've heard examples obviously on this show of like, hey, you're going to keep doing this or something bad's going to happen. So it sucks for sports in general, but it's become so in the forefront of what it is. There is going to be these things that happen because people are going to get caught up, and obviously they have. And, I think it's probably not the end of it, and we'll kind of see what happens. But the risk reward factor just does not make sense to me whatsoever.
It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary where sports is going when it comes to sports betting. And I think that anybody that understands what has happened over the last couple of years. Everybody keeps talking about Pete Rose. Pete Rose is not inducted into the Hall of Fame. This is one of the greatest hitters of all time. This guy is not sitting in the Hall of Fame yet because he bet on baseball. And now we're seeing how sports betting has become a national, phenomenon. There's so much money to be made. And it's not just fans and handicappers, it's players now. Now professional sports teams and professional commissioners. The commissioners out there are saying that you can bet on sports, but you can't bet on your own sport. So when is it not going to be stopped? Why are the commissioners of professional sports allowing these players to bet props on other sports if they're not involved with it? If you're doing one, you should be doing it for the other. That's my opinion. You should not be allowed to make prop bets as far as when it comes to professional sports. So if that's the case, just completely.
You're saying so if you're a basketball player, you can't make prop bets in football?
The way these commissioners are working is that if you're playing professional basketball, you can make prop bets in professional football.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think you should be allowed to do that. Because
why is that?
Here's the reason why. Because if you're getting that feeling, or you're getting hungry betting on other sports, you're going to bet on your own sports. You're going to get other people to bet for you under their names in other sports. There has to be some kind of change in professional sports, or figure out a way where you can keep this from happening, because if you don't, it's only going to get worse. There's a massive amount of money to be made. As a matter of fact, last year in New York, there was $350 billion made in sports betting. Some crazy amount of money that was made. Think about it that way. How many of that money was made from professional athletes betting on props? Think about it. You have all that money. You have hundreds of millions of dollars. Think about it this way. Dak Prescott makes $60 million a year. If Dak Prescott took $1 million and put it into prop bets, that's pennies to him. If he put $100,000 of that money, he can make double that $1 million. So it's really nothing to be a loss of. And if he has an inside scoop on what's going on with players and other players from other teams, because he's friends with them, he can prop bet in any of those. With any of those teams or any other sport, because he has connections in the NBA, connections in the NHL, because he's friends. He's friends with these guys. So,
but you've seen where that's got caught before. Like you look at the baseball umpire who was doing it with his buddy, and then that's how it comes back to. So I kind of disagree because it's easy to do because we all have walking computers, right? We all have our phones, so you can check up the live stats and all the other stuff. So I understand what you're saying, but you can't take away, we live in a free country, right? Like I see where you're coming with it, but I don't think you can take that prerogative away from you as a human being. Like if I want to gamble, I want to gamble. If it's not on my sport, I don't feel like you should take that away from me, because that's like saying, Or do you take all of the March Madness pools that are in every?
But Joba, I understand
room?
what you're saying, but you're allowing gambling and prop betting in other sports. So these players and these athletes know that they can get away with doing that. They can do it in their own sports. So I think
a smart, ethical, morally correct person will not do it.
Well,
how many people have played the game of baseball, basketball, football, and how many have got caught? Let's just look at the numbers if we're really going to look at it.
Joba, I think this is just the top of the iceberg.
I'm understanding what you're saying, but there's more that haven't bet on their own sport than there is that have.
I got you. That's because nobody has been caught yet. But it's going to happen.
Have been caught. They
really?
Who?
Who? Besides these other guys that you mentioned, Ohtani got caught, but baseball international superstar was put. They decided to push it under the rug because he's Shohei Ohtani and he's their superstar. So if you're not a name, they don't care about you. Think about it that way. Look at what Porter Jr. Porter got suspended for life because he used himself as a prop bet. You're going to tell me Porter is the only player in the last 2 years that has prop betted his own, on his own basketball game? Not a chance in hell. And that's why I believe prop betting.
So why is he the only one that's been caught then?
Because obviously they're investigating it. You can't prosecute somebody that's doing it in a different way or using somebody to make those prop bets. So you have to investigate it. You can't just assume that he's the only one that's doing it. I'm sure there's a ton of players doing it right now, and the FBI is investigating it right now.
I understand. So
I think
what
prop
percent
bets.
Would you say? What percent would you say is? I guarantee
28%. 28% of sports, at least 28 to 30% of these athletes are making prop bets on either players that they know in the league that are telling them they're not playing, or in other leagues. Okay,
no chance. No chance.
No chance. Okay.
No.
I disagree.
I've been in a lot of clubhouses, and I can promise you it's not that much. I would say they make prop bets on, like, I want Gronk 2 touchdowns, so I'm going to bet it because I know him. You got to understand that's a respect thing. I would never call another athlete in another sport and be like, hey, are you playing tonight? Like,
you might not. You might not, but there are other guys.
So you're saying over a quarter of the athletes that are playing all of sports are doing it to their friends? And
over a quarter. Over a quarter.
You said 28%.
Yeah, over a quarter. Yeah, 28%.
There's no chance.
Yeah. Okay. There's no chance. How about this? I'm not going to mention any names, but I know fighters that have bet prop bets with other fighters that they know on certain specific things. So
no, I understand that, but you're talking about you're talking all sports. There's no way.
Okay, so there's European football. And if you want to talk about FIFA and how FIFA has been absolutely politically attacked because of who runs FIFA and what they were doing, you're going to tell me right now, European football, which is legal over there in sports betting, even before us, they're not prop betting.
Well, what does it matter if it's legal? Who cares?
It's a professional sport. It's a professional sport.
But it doesn't matter. It's legal.
It's legal, but you can't bet on your own prop bets. We're not talking about that. We're talking about prop betting. You cannot be I believe DraftKings and FanDuel should absolutely terminate prop betting for terminate.
But you were just talking about it's legal, so
betting is legal, but you're prop betting. These athletes understand that they have an inside scoop, and certain athletes are playing certain athletes from different leagues. How many leagues are over there in Europe? There's a ton of soccer leagues, and they're all connected, they're all friendly and stuff. They know that guy's not playing. He's not 100% healthy. What are they going to do? They're going to prop bet on that specific bet. That's what they're going to do. So honestly, to me, it's hurting professional sports. It's hurting the betting situation. It was fine when you were betting on games, the over-unders, the money line. There's really nothing you can really change with that. It's very hard to change the factor there. The number one thing they need to do is get rid of prop bets.